My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 154. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Great Gable. The indie rock band from Perth, Australia have just announced their second studio record and are celebrating by releasing the brand new track, Dancing Shoes. In today's episode, we're speaking with frontman Alex Whiteman about working again with Matt Corby, the brand new single, and we discuss the music of Billy Joel and the Arctic Monkeys. Here we go. Our guest today is one quarter of one of the best up-and-coming indie bands from Perth, Australia. Today, they're announcing their second studio record, entitled On the Wall in the Morning, and are releasing the brand new single, Dancing Shoes, to celebrate. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Alex Whiteman from Great Gable. Good afternoon, sir. How are we?
G'day, Simon. How you going?
Very well, thank you. What about yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Good.
That's good to hear. It's a very big week for Great Gable. It's a very big day, actually. Congratulations, because there's a brand new single out with Dancing Shoes and the announcement of a second album. Congrats.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I kind of forgot, to be honest, because we just been wrapped up in playing some gigs, but it was nice to come home from the tour and then just get some good news, like a new song being released, you know?
Of course. It is, as we said, it's a brand new single. It is Dancing Shoes. I feel that the title of the song almost kind of follows the, what's the word for it? I know that there is a word for it, but it's almost like instructions for the oral equivalent of what you're hearing. It is an upbeat track. It is one to get everybody, terribly cliche, with their dancing shoes on.
Yeah.
Where did this song come from?
Well, that's funny because I guess like I was like the last one to the party on this song, and I obviously I sing. So when the drummer Cal, he brought this song in, and it just felt only natural to sing kind of like what the vibe of this track I was hearing. And so I thought it's a bit cheesy in that, but like the full 80s, like put on your dancing shoes, like you spot someone across the dance, the dance floor, and like the light shining on them or whatever. Like that's the kind of vibe the track gave me, so that's what I wanted to go down, I guess.
That's very cool. With the, I guess we won't talk too much about the album, but I guess talking about the songwriting process of this track, when you've got four members, you've got everyone kind of with their own respective parts and the parts that they play in the band, how does the songwriting process work? Are you a frontman who is someone who kind of, writes everything, melody, lyrics, and then gives the other guys instructions, or is it more of a collaborative kind of affair?
It's definitely, I guess it used to be a bit more like the guitarist, Matt, and I would do most of the songwriting, but as it's gone on, the two other boys, Chris, the bass player, and Cal, the drummer, have started bringing in more tracks and stuff. And this album and, Dancing Shoes shows it that we've kind of just worked on everyone's tracks, and like whatever someone's brought in, we've just gone, let's give it a crack, and we jammed them all a lot more. Like we never used to, we stopped jamming for a while as bands do, and just start like recording like on bloody Logic or whatever, and to start demoing a track just straight off the bat. But for this album, we just wanted to start jamming again. So if someone had an idea, some chords, we just bring it in. But then when it comes to like the lyrics and the melody, it's yeah, it's like I'll come up with that over the top, I suppose, and then like with the help of the boys, and some of the tracks, the boys will have melodies as well, which is cool.
Yeah, of course. I imagine that you guys have been together, I want to say, I think it's from around 2016 or 15.
Yeah, well, there might have been a year before that where it was just Preeny, the guitarist, and I just fluffing about playing like acoustic gigs and stuff. But yeah. About 2015, I think we started.
I imagine that having started, around that time, that's a good 7 years, that in that time the band as a machine kind of learns to, grow and adapt and change when it does come to producing music and writing music.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's just been, you just kind of learn a lot from other people, I suppose. So we don't want to like, and you just, I don't know. Everyone's got such good ideas. It's like, it'd be silly not to like, make it like a four-way deal, So then everyone's got a piece of it as well, and everyone wants to like work hard for the band, which is cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. It's a fair democratic way to kind of have your band and then be able to carry it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's just like all four of us have to approve of it, I suppose, which is I don't know, it gives us a bit more of a stamp for us, like before deciding on what to do,
Yeah, of course. The single and the new record that is being announced today, it is entitled On the Wall in the Morning, and it is very exciting. It's the second full-length record to come out under the Great Gable name, but it's also the first under Rainbow Valley Records, which is, I imagine, a very exciting kind of time for you guys working with Matt and Alex.
Yeah. Well, they're legends, We just we really get along with them, and obviously just we love Corby's music and stuff, and we think he's so talented. And then Alex is, he's got like this certain peaceful vibe, I suppose, and to have around. So it all just seems to work really well. And like, I'm glad doing the first album we did with them, Tracing Faces, and then being able to do it again second time. But like, we got to spend a fair bit more time doing it, which was awesome.
I can imagine anyone, just touching on what you said, Alex being a laid-back person, I can imagine that whoever Matt Corby is keeping around with him isn't kind of a frantic or the opposite of him. I imagine that they are in the same kind of wheelhouse and what's the word? The same kind of energy that he's keeping.
Yeah, well, I think, and they've also been friends for a very long time as well. So, because I know Alex like writes lyrics for Corby as well, so he's got to know him pretty well to do that.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. Did on top of producing, did they kind of step in at all when it did come to the songwriting, when it came to the lyrics or anything, and try and, I guess, improve or give their own kind of take on what you guys were doing?
On maybe one of like two or three of the tracks, we had like a bit of a songwriting, like, I suppose like we didn't have enough parts or something like that, and we'd work on a part together, but not really, because we spent so long recording or demoing, like jamming and demoing these songs. We had like close to like 25, 30 tracks to pick from, and they picked like the ones they liked, and we'd make sure we kind of rehearsed them all before coming over. And then like there wasn't too much writing; it was just like recording from the day dot,
Yeah, of course. With the track list like that, and I know you said they kind of picked out their favourites. When it comes to you four with the band picking out those tracks, and I imagine each of the four of you having your own favourites, what is that process like, and how does it kind of end up if you aren't able to kind of get your pick or your key track over the line?
Well, I guess it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting one, because like when we wrote so many songs, I guess like I had definitely like a few that I was like hoping to kind of get in, but everyone's got, like I said, like it's got to be four ways, and if it's not, then there's no point even like arguing about it or whatever, And
Yeah, of course.
we trusted Corby's ear. We trusted Corby's ear to pick out the ones he thought was the best as well. So it was just like, well, like, all right, if this is what Corby reckons, you know, sort of thing.
That's fair. I can imagine that. Yeah, you've got to put trust in your producer and also those around you. Alex, going back to something we touched on a second ago with the start of Great Gable, I think, as you said, maybe around 2015, 16, maybe a bit before. Do you remember what originally kicked off the idea of a band? I heard that I think it had something to do with one or two of you coming home from a Jack Johnson gig and wanting to kind of make music yourself.
Yeah. I suppose the guitarist Preeny and I, we met in like high school, started high school or something like that, playing cricket together. And music for us just like developed over a long time. Like we just always came back to each other with, you know, wanting to play with each other. And then, but I guess like to really want to start the band, we started going to gigs and stuff, and probably like when we were about 19, 20, just watching local gigs around Perth and stuff like that, and you know, started hanging out with that sort of the musically inclined sort of crew that want to go out to music, and then we just thought it was really cool, like the people on stage, and just like that's what I remember it kind of being the start of wanting to do the band. You know, before that, I don't know. I guess we loved music and we loved playing music, but we didn't really know about, you know, gigs and stuff because we grew up down in Bunbury. So there was barely anything. You don't know how to get to, you know, even writing a song, you know. So when we started going to gigs in Perth, when we moved up, I guess that's when we wanted to start the band, you know. And that was probably like 2014, 2013 maybe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting kind of. We've spoken to a lot of acts about this, that WA and Perth continues to like pump out just these incredibly quality bands and acts and artists that seem to kind of. I feel like before we started the interview, we were discussing where we both were, and I was saying Adelaide, and no disrespect to Adelaide, but I feel like we have one good artist every few years that kind of pushes past the local scene, whereas I feel like Perth continually does that. Yourselves, Sly Withers, Dulcie, who you can kind of like continue to name bands. What do you think it is about the music scene in WA, and I guess more so, as you just said, in Bunbury, which is a little bit more remote than maybe Perth? Like, what's the music scene like there, and how do you find yourself in the position that you're in now, like playing with Matt Corby and, you know, touring the country?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like, I guess I also know with Perth, before like kind of anyone gets to know them over east, they've probably been gigging around for 4 or 5 years in Perth. Like, that's what kind of happened with us. We just, you know, like you said, it's been 7 years for us, and some people are probably only hearing us for the first time on Triple J and stuff like that, because this is the first time we've kind of been played in that. So, or like maybe last year as well. But I guess it's just like a lot of, I can't tell you why, but there's just a lot of good music. You get to see a lot of good live music. And, but yeah, Sly Withers as well. They've probably been doing it for fucking 7 or 8 years as well, like having a good crack at it, you know. And we've known them since the start of our trip as well. Like, so, I don't know I don't know like what it is about Perth. Like, it's great. It's just like, I don't know. It's just great. It's good to see though, because like it's great to be able to gig around Perth, but I think everyone wants just a bit more. They want to go. They know that like the East Coast is where there's so many more people, you know.
Yeah, of course. I can imagine. And it's not a subject I like to talk about a lot on this podcast, only because everyone's been through it for the last 2 years, so I don't really need to focus on it. But I can imagine when when the country was going through COVID, but WA kind of, you guys had festivals and gigs back before anyone else. I can imagine it might have almost been like a return to form almost, like just playing to people in Perth and WA and not being able to go to the East Coast.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
Yeah, I suppose the tough thing for us is that we always had because people booking gigs so far in advance for us and that. I guess it was good to be able to go watch live music in Perth, but us as a band, we can only play in Perth so many times before people stop buying fucking tickets, you know. I guess, and we played a couple of times at the end of the year last year, and I think on New Year's Eve and stuff like that. And then at the start of this year, we had this tour booked and just kept on getting pushed back and back and back. So you can't really book shows around that, and so you don't end up playing for a bit because like I said, you know, we'll play in Perth once, a couple of times in a row, and then normally we go around the country again, and kind of helps build the hype to come back to your hometown. So we haven't played heaps, and then so going on tour was a bit of a refresher for us, to be honest.
From what I saw is that you guys were able to make it around most of the country. I think you've got some dates in WA in end of May, start of June, and some New Zealand dates. But what was it like being able to get back out onto the road and play some of those the East Coast shows finally?
Well, it was a good reminder of what we do, I suppose. I feel like we kind of, you kind of forget that you play shows like that, because they were probably the biggest ones we've played. But because it's been so long, it was just kind of hard to soak that up, because you're just oh, what are the chords?
Did you guys find that, I guess, with that time apart and with Great Gable, I would say, becoming a bigger name over the last few years, did you find that there was a larger uptake in, I guess, the venues that you're playing and in the volume of fans that you're seeing at the shows?
Well, it's tough because you see, I feel like in the past we've seen bigger jumps happen in a shorter period of time, but this one, over the last couple of years, I feel like it's definitely not been as big as a jump as if it was if we got to keep going on tour and stuff like that. Because the tours just help so much, because we just love playing live, and we feel like we put on a good show and stuff, so we really try hard at it as well. So it's been, I feel like Triple J helped a bit, playing, spinning our tunes and stuff, but even then, they might only know a couple of tunes, and then but I guess it's hard to say. I guess it's been cool that we've just been lucky to keep going as a band, because some bands haven't been able to get through all that COVID stuff, you know.
Yeah, of course. It is a more increasingly difficult kind of thing to navigate, I guess is the word. What we're seeing, speaking to bands, is that you're just having to kind of have plan A and then about 5 different plans in your back pocket in case.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And everyone that's all your booking agents and all that, they're going crazy because they were going crazy because they just have to keep on rescheduling shows, rebooking shows, and then you can't get the same venue because it's all booked up, and then you just it would have been a nightmare being a booking agent over the last couple of years.
100%. I know that artists have had it tough throughout the last 2 years, and I imagine that the teams behind as well had it just as much of a nightmare as well. So kudos to not just yourselves as the artists, but also, you know, the booking, as you said, booking artists, the publicists, everyone. It's kind of hopefully a bit of a return to form that we're seeing at the moment. So I imagine, and I don't want to get in too much trouble with your said publicist, so I won't push my luck too much. But as we mentioned, there's some New Zealand dates in June, obviously with the album out in July. Could we expect to maybe see Great Gable around the country at another point later this year?
Oh, definitely, man. We're gonna. I can't actually tell you when. I can't remember, to be honest. Is why I can't tell you. But I think it might be October, somewhere around there. But we're definitely coming around the country again this year. Probably get in a bit of sleep after the New Zealand tour, maybe a month. So I think I'm going to the UK for a bit, visit my old man. But then after that, yeah, we'll be going on tour later in the year.
And that's very exciting. Have you guys had much interest? Has there been much kind of like love from overseas for Great Gable at the moment?
Oh man, we're always getting messages. Come to Brazil. It makes us laugh, you know. But it's so cool. It's so cool. But yeah, I think we've got I think some fans in South America and probably some in the UK and the States and stuff. We get some messages saying come to LA and all that. But I don't know. You got to start gigging over there, you know. So hopefully in the next year we can start doing that.
100%. I actually think the fact that you mentioned Brazil, I was trying to think before of the markets where your music might work well, and Brazil was one of the ones that came to mind. So yeah, I reckon you guys would kill it in Brazil, personally. But
yeah, well, yeah, we do get it there. That is the most popular message. Come to Brazil.
Alex, would you be happy to talk about the playlist that you sent through for us today?
Yeah, no worries.
It's clear by this playlist that you, I would say, and this is meant as a compliment, a bit of an old soul at heart. There's a lot of classics on here. I feel there is the Beatles, there's Paul Kelly. One song that I personally love, I was going to put it up behind me and I don't know where my copy has gone, of Billy Joel in Vienna.
Oh, it's beautiful stuff, hey?
That's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous album. But I was going to ask, what made you put this song on the playlist?
Well, I remember just it was only like a few months ago. My girlfriend just started playing it all the time, like whenever she hopped in the car, and I was like, man, this guy's voice. I was like, this is unreal. I was like, because I almost thought it was Elton John when I first heard it, and then I was like, is this Billy Joel? Because I've just always just the tone of his voice. Just like, there's no one better. There's actually no one with such a nice rounded and his fucking range and everything. It's really impressive, and just the song is just great. And there's no particular reason why. I just thought I've just been listening to it so much lately. Me and Preeny, the guitarist, we learnt it, so we're really, really enjoying playing it and stuff.
It's a fantastic song, and that album as well. What is it? The Stranger, The Strangler, The Stranger. Fantastic album.
Yeah, I can't say I know the album too well, to be honest. I should check it out. But a bit of a late bloom with Billy Joel, but I do love his voice, you know.
Yeah, incredible voice, especially back then as well. It's so beautiful. Is it a tenor? Whatever it is, it's great voice. Another one of the tracks that you had on the playlist was Ryan Adams' "To Be Young Is to Be Sad Is to Be High," which is off his incredible Heartbreaker record. What made you pick this song? And it is a great track. It's one of the best opening tracks to a record, I think.
Yeah. I think, the funny thing is just like that. I discovered that song just before we started recording the album at Corby's house. I think I was on the way to the studio. We just flew in, and I think one of the boys' phone was just going through, shuffle randomly through, we'll just listen to some, it's like old country or something like that, I suppose. And that song came on, and just as soon as I heard it, the chorus, I was just like, whoa, what's this? This is funny because I've never really listened to any of Ryan Adams' stuff, and then now I've dived into all of his stuff. And he's like an unreal songwriter,
Yeah, the songwriting on that record is some of the best old country that I think has been put out in the last 10, 15, 20 years, however old the record is. But yeah.
Yeah, no, great lyrics, and it's like I've got a soft spot for a country twang, sort of thing. And that's what in that song he gets real kind of he gets pretty cool with that,
100%. I feel like you and I are very similar in that I will like an alternative or a folky song with a country lilt almost to the edge. If it pushes over and it's too country, then it's there, but he kind of takes it right to the perfect line.
No, yeah, I do. No, I dig that tune, so I've listened to it since I discovered it. I reckon I've listened to it every other day, I listen to it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's an incredible song. Another song on the playlist that you had was Nina Simone with I Want a Little Sugar in My Bowl. Yeah. What was it about this song?
Oh, I just love the lyrics. I thought and Nina Simone, her voice is fucking epic, I can't remember I just remember I used to listen to that. I used to listen to a lot of soul and stuff like Otis Redding and what was that? I've got all the records over there. But Otis Redding was the main one, and Nina Simone anyway. And I've always listened to this tune, and it's always just the lyrics I just thought were so kind of cheesy, and I just love that, but it's really done in such a cool way.
It is a incredible track, and Nina Simone just in general, I feel like has some just gorgeous lyrics and gorgeous songwriting. The last song that I wanted to talk about was Arctic Monkeys with She's Thunderstorms. And I have to admit, when I read that the new track was called Dancing Shoes, my mind did go to is the track called Dancing Shoes off the first album for the Arctic Monkeys?
I think it might be, yeah, it might be. They've got a lyric that's practically the same thing,
yeah,
on your dancing shoes.
I'm glad you did it, because I did not want to do my Alex Turner impression, because it is a lot worse than that. That was lovely to listen to. Mine's way worse. What made you put on this track, She's Thunderstorms by Arctic Monkeys?
Oh, it's a pretty rockin' one, and I like that Suck It and See album. I'm pretty sure it's Suck It and See, or is it Humbug? Suck It and See, yeah. And I'm a big Arctic Monkeys fan, big Arctic Monkeys fan. I just love the dude's voice, and I love hearing how it started to where it's got to now. And Suck It and See, I think, is one of those albums where it's the defining, he's kind of really figured out how he wants to sing. I don't know why, but it's he becomes a bit more croonery and stuff on this album. And She's Thunderstorms is a real rockin' tune. I like it, and cool lyrics. Yeah. He comes up with pretty sick lyrics, doesn't he?
He's always been good with lyrics, and I feel, I agree. Suck It and See was a weird turning point where I think the sound of the band, they went a little bit heavier, but he vocally was let's just fucking try anything.
Yeah, because he's pretty smart with what he does, I reckon. I really like his all the kind of little phases that he's had. It's cool. It's cool to kind of be able to see it as well.
100%. Alex, thank you very much for your time today. I do appreciate you being on the podcast. Congratulations again on Dancing Shoes. Congratulations again on the announcement of On the Wall in the Morning, which is out in July. But yeah, thank you again for being on the podcast.
No, thanks for having us, Simon. I hope I didn't ramble on too much, but yeah, cheers for having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Alex Whiteman and Gable for their time. Dancing Shoes is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream the single or pre-order the record for July. We also want to give a huge shout out to Suzy at Positive Feedback for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the Players profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.